Good evening and welcome to Pakistan Today News from our London studio. I'm Chris Taylor. We begin tonight with developments from the Middle East, where celebrations and concern are unfolding simultaneously following a 10-day ceasefire announcement in Lebanon. Across the country, celebratory gunfire and fireworks lit up the skies as displaced families expressed relief at a temporary pause in hostilities. However, the situation on the ground remains fragile. Lebanon's national news agency reports that the first violation of the ceasefire has already occurred, with an ambulance struck in Kunain near the Israeli border, leaving medical workers among the casualties. At the same time, tens of thousands of displaced residents have started returning to Beirut's southern suburbs and other heavily affected regions. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has welcomed the ceasefire, calling it a positive step and expressing hope that it will lead to lasting peace. France's President Emmanuel Macron also supported the truce but warned that ongoing military activity could still undermine the agreement. Turning now to wider regional diplomacy, Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister Saeed Khatibzadeh has delivered a strong message from the Antalya Diplomacy Forum, rejecting the idea of any temporary ceasefire. He said Tehran insists on a comprehensive and permanent end to conflict across the region, stretching from Lebanon to the Red Sea, describing it as a red line for Iran. He stressed that short-term pauses are not acceptable and reiterated Iran's demand for a long-term settlement to hostilities. Khatibzadeh also commented on the Strait of Hormuz, saying it has historically remained open, while accusing the United States and Israel of fueling instability and disrupting global trade. We now go live to our correspondent James Wood, reporting from London on the diplomatic implications of these statements.
Chris, Iran's remarks at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum have added another layer of complexity to already fragile regional diplomacy. Officials here in Europe are closely monitoring Tehran's firm rejection of temporary ceasefires, particularly as international partners continue to push for de-escalation. The emphasis on a permanent solution reflects Iran's attempt to shape the broader narrative of the conflict beyond short-term truces. Meanwhile, there is growing concern in diplomatic circles that competing positions could slow down any coordinated peace framework. Analysts say the coming days will be crucial in determining whether these statements translate into hardened positions or renewed negotiations.
Thank you, James. Moving to Europe's energy concerns, Poland's Deputy Energy Minister Wojciech Rochna says no jet fuel has been released from national reserves despite rising fears of shortages across the continent. Airlines have warned that disruptions linked to the Iran-related tensions could trigger fuel shortages within weeks. The head of the International Energy Agency, Fatih Birol, has cautioned that Europe may have as little as 6 weeks of jet fuel remaining, raising the possibility of flight delays and cancellations. Officials in Poland, however, maintain there is currently no immediate shortage, although they acknowledge the situation remains highly uncertain amid instability in global supply routes. In a major military development, the United States Central Command says it has deployed a significant force aimed at enforcing restrictions on maritime activity linked to Iran's ports. According to CENTCOM, the operation includes 12 naval vessels, more than 100 aircraft, and over 10,000 troops. Officials say the objective is to halt maritime trade entering and exiting Iranian territory, while clarifying that the Strait of Hormuz itself is not under full blockade. Several vessels have reportedly turned back following warnings, as enforcement measures intensify amid rising regional tensions. In economic news, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia have signed an agreement extending a $3 billion deposit facility, providing key support to Pakistan's external financial position. The deal was concluded between the Saudi Fund for Development and the State Bank of Pakistan during the IMF World Bank spring meetings in Washington. In addition, Saudi Arabia has pledged a further $3 billion and extended an existing $5 billion facility for 3 more years, underscoring continued financial cooperation between the two countries. And finally, in domestic developments, Bushra Bibi, wife of former Prime Minister Imran Khan, has been moved back to Adiala jail following eye surgery in Rawalpindi. Hospital sources confirmed she was diagnosed with retinal detachment and underwent a successful procedure at a private facility. She was discharged after overnight observation before being transferred back to prison. PTI leadership has raised concerns over her condition, calling for family access and describing it as a basic legal right. That's all for now. You're watching Pakistan Today News. I'm Chris Taylor.